A man who made aviation history by parachuting out of a hot air balloon 20 miles above the Earth has died at the age of 94 when he finally hit the ground.
The Wall Street Journal published an op-ed suggesting that Dr. Jill Biden stop using the title doctor because she has a PhD and is not a medical doctor, though she has at times functioned as a nurse.
A 67-year-old woman in China gave birth this week. The birth set a record for most friction. See, you guys don't realize it, but that joke took me like 4 hours to write.
During oral arguments in the case, Justice Samuel Alito raised the hypothetical, could a black department store Santa be forced to take a picture with a child dressed in a Klan robe? Alito added that he'd love an answer before he takes his grandkids to the mall next week.
In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat.
Officials in Georgia say that more than 50 children may have been exposed to coronavirus by a mall Santa, which is the second worst thing a mall Santa can expose children to.
A new album from R. Kelly was removed from streaming sites several hours after being uploaded. And it was not easy to remove his streams, said the maid who cleaned his couch.
On Christmas.
Wednesday was National Coffee with a Cop Day, and something tells me cops like their coffee with a couple of shots in it.
Before he collapsed on stage, Michael Jackson sold some of his publishing rights for $100 million. Do you have any idea how much $100 million can buy these days? 5 free molestings. That's right. It's a deal.
A woman testifying in the sex trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell said that Maxwell told her that Jeffrey Epstein needed to have sex about 3 times a day, and if not, he'd kill himself.
Good. But do you get it? An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
That's pretty racist, Colin. The U.S. men's soccer team failed to qualify for the Olympics for the 3rd time in a row. But fellas, keep your heads up and remember that win or lose, you will always get paid more than the women's team. It's true.
Anna Nicole Smith was hospitalized twice this year. Her people said it was for exhaustion. For once, I believe them. If I had to lug these 2 giant sandbags around all day, I'd be exhausted too. I heard she had a second spine put in.
A professional golfer in Florida was arrested after he tried to meet a 15-year-old girl he met online who turned out to be a detective, said the golfer. Mulligan?
Come on, man.
Sadly, there's more. For those of you wondering, in golf terms, a 15-year-old is 3 under par.
New research shows that before honeybees are killed by murder hornets, they scream a rally cry to other bees, who sadly just film the attack on their phones. It's not real, guys. A white student at the University of Kentucky was arrested after she was caught on video using a racial slur and assaulting 2 black students. She has been charged with 1 count of impersonating a police officer.
Police arrested a man after he pulled his car to the side of the road and started having sex with it. That man, you guessed it, Matthew McConaughey.
Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, let's just face it, is absolutely my type. complained that people can buy butt plugs in Target now. She also complained that they melt and are shaped like Santa.
The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to Mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95?
Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is under fire over a picture of him from 1957 where he looks on as black students are stopped from entering his school. Okay, so maybe Jerry Jones was a racist back then. But tell me this, would a racist own a team full of the strongest black men he could buy to work on his field?
A man in Virginia is being called the greatest Uber driver ever after he and his teenage passenger got stuck in a snowstorm and he got a hotel room so she would be safe. Coincidentally, the worst Uber driver ever also brought his teenage passenger to a hotel room.
Get you off my mind. I've been up all night. I just wanna make it right. Hit me, yeah. Ooh, hey, can't get you off my mind.
Apple is saying that COVID in China has led to a slowdown in iPhone production. Wow. So I guess the new variant does affect children. I love this crowd. Pope Francis said this week that getting vaccinated against COVID is a moral obligation, especially since priests work so closely with kids. That wasn't an eye joke, I swear.
The Los Angeles Zoo announced that Evelyn, a 46-year-old gorilla famous for her red hair, has been euthanized. Not because she was sick, but because it's LA and she was in her 40s.
The population of Los Angeles has fallen for the third straight year. Well, it's like Colin always says, LA is just not the same without Harvey. You always say it, man.
Cool. Thanks, man. That's cool.
A cat who was buried by its owner after it was hit by a car dug its way out of the grave and returned to its owner 5 days later. That story again. A lady found a cat that looked like her old cat.
Police in Ohio say that a report of a homeless man sleeping on a bench turned out to be a statue, which was a huge relief because they shot it 15 times.
The makers of Barbie have introduced the first ever Barbie with hearing aids. It teaches an important lesson. It doesn't matter if you're deaf as long as that body banging.
Kevin Spacey. China has launched the third and final module for its permanent space station. Now all they have to do is launch some children to assemble it.
A 25-year-old from Florida will become the first Gen Z member of Congress. Younger, said Matt Gaetz.
In the wake of R. Kelly's sex trafficking conviction, YouTube has removed 2 channels linked with the singer. One for his singing, and the other about how to remove stains. It's been a pleasure working here, it really has.
Purdue University researchers have created the whitest paint on record. The paint is so white, I'm its favorite part of SNL.
This week, the FDA granted the first condom approved for anal sex. It took them this long because their wives would only let them test it on their birthdays.